I'm Katie.
Hi, I'm Camilla.
And welcome to You're Gonna Be Fine, the self-development podcast with a chatty twist.
Please know that we are not professionals, just regular girls sharing from our own journeys to hopefully educate, motivate, and inspire you on yours.
So if you're dealing with something serious, please speak to a professional because at the end of the day, they are the experts, not us.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, and share with someone who you think would enjoy it.
It helps us more than you know to reach more gorgeous people just like you.
With that being said, enjoy the episode and remember, whatever it is,
You're gonna be fine.
Hello guys, welcome back to your favourite podcast, You're Gonna Be Fine. So sorry, we've literally got the giggles so bad today because we are discussing Oh Fucks of the Week, and mine is literally the fact that I'm dressed as Sue Sylvester from Glee. So Dylan's just put a picture of her up on the screen. So yeah, sorry to get distracted. We are actually talking about a very exciting episode today, which is how to know when to leave and perhaps how to know when to dress more appropriately for a podcast so that you won't giggle.
I can't unsee it.
No,
It's because you've got the water bottle. Show the water bottle. You've got the sports socks and the sports trainers and those little plaits in your hair giving like 1990s PE teacher.
It really is.
You look really cute.
Thanks.
But obviously I was wearing that tracksuit a couple of weeks ago on a previous
and it didn't
episode.
look like this. Katie looked really cool and I was actually excited to wear this outfit because I was like, oh my God, like this is such a cool outfit. I put it on and I literally look like the PE teacher in Glee. So that's ideal for me, isn't it? If you're not watching the episode, you need to watch it on YouTube, but we will put something on social media
I'm
so you can
actually crying.
visualise.
Like, that's actually funny. I feel like I'm going a bit delirious as well because we've done a lot of filming today. And
We have.
Feel like
I said to Dylan, who is lovely, I said to, he's so much more than lovely. He's our fabulous producer. And I said, have you seen Glee, Dylan? And then I look up at the screen and he's very kindly blown up a picture of Sue Sylvester with a big megaphone on the screen. So he clearly knows and he clearly agrees because he's been giggling as well. So yeah, I'm going to own it. This is going to be my Oh Fuck of the Week because
God, you know,
I just
something
feel like
really tickles you. Like, I just could not stop laughing then.
it's
That was
so
just
funny
hilarious.
how you wear it so differently though. I think it's because of the like crimped
No,
hair
I think
as
it's
well.
it's the other bolt-ons, like the bottle, the trainers, the socks. I didn't have trainers on. I went shoeless on that episode. I go shoeless on every episode, actually, to be honest. And the bottle, I'm just waiting for you to whip out a whistle or something, and then you're like,
stand to attention, please, please. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah,
God,
so
so
that's going to
funny.
be my Oh Fuck of the Week. Short and
Great.
sweet, but literally, yeah, I feel like you set the standard with this tracksuit and got me so excited and then basically just stitched me up.
By the way, you do look mega. It's
Thank
just
you.
it's the other accessories that go
The
with
water
it.
bottle,
But,
the shoes, the little white top.
similarly with your Oh Fuck, kind of, my Oh Fuck is to do with my dressing room.
Okay, another house
Another
escapade.
house. Yeah, exactly. God, yeah, it's all going on. So basically, the other day, I was just in bed and James had got up and gone to work at like the arse crack of dawn, as he always does. So I was on my own in the bed and I just heard this, like, it was raining outside and I love the sound of rain on a window. Isn't that? It's like that today, isn't it? It's just throwing it down. So cozy vibes, like loving it in bed. Just like, oh yeah, this is the dream. And then the drip, drip, drip got like a bit louder. And I thought, that rain is so loud, it sounds like it could be inside the house. So I wake up in a doze.
Yeah.
And I like go into I'm like following the sound, you know, when you're like trying to figure out something. And I go into the dressing room and for some reason we have like, I don't know how to pronounce it, so forgive me, Velux or Velux windows. Yeah.
Velux, I think it is.
Velux windows in the roof. And somehow it's blown wide open because it was really, really heavy rain. And it's blown open. I don't know how, because obviously mechanics, it's shut by a chain. So it must have been like a fault and it's blown open and the rain is just going...
Shit.
And I was like, oh no, but I was like half asleep. So I like ran downstairs because obviously it's all carpet in there. So the carpet's wet.
Oh, piss wet through.
So I was thinking, oh my God, it's going to be wet through to the wood. So I'm like having catastrophizing images of the floor falling through in our house. I was like, shit. So obviously James at work. So I was like ringing him. He's not answering. So I ran outside. We've got loads of pots and pans, like frantically trying to like line them up to catch the rain. So I was like, right, under control, got the pans. And then I went and had a shower and everything, got ready. And then I was in the office and then I heard it again, like tink, tink, tink. And there's like, ting, 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 ting. And I didn't have enough pans. Like, it was just coming through. And I don't know what to do.
What do I do?
So I was like panicking. Anyway, in the end, we've got this guy called Danny. I may have mentioned him before on the pod because he's just like our amazing handyman. Basically, he just got, he got like suggested to us from our landlord, and he's just amazing. He just knows the answer to everything. So I rang him. I was like, Danny, I don't know what to do.
You're your second boyfriend.
So stressful.
That.
Well, yeah, I feel like James like, I can fix things, you know? And I'm like, no, I know,
Danny.
but you're at work. So I needed to ring the backup. And anyway, Danny to the rescue. He came in and like fixed the window, shut it. And then anyway, we've had to get an engineer out to come and fix it. It was a fucking nightmare. But it's so like, the reason why I was like, oh, fuck of the week is obviously because it was like soaked all over the dressing room. But also it'd been so hot and sunny for ages. And then this random day that it was just pissing it down. It blew over and I was like, for God's sake. So yeah, it's fixed now anyway.
Good. And also, why do these things only happen when you're in the house? Like, it's irritating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's irritating actually. It's like
why does it not happen when they're in the house?
Yeah, because it's not a job for me, that.
Yeah.
That's a James job.
That's a blue job.
It's a blue job.
Love that.
Yeah.
Good. I like that one. Well, I don't like it, but yeah, stressful.
It was a good fuck of the week.
Yeah. So today we are going to be talking about how to know when to leave. And actually, this was something that when we were doing listeners' dilemmas, loads of people were writing in and asking like how to know when to leave, how to know. It was a very, very strong undercurrent on all the questions. So we thought we would just do a whole episode on it. And when we're saying how to know when to leave, we've left it open-ended because it's how to leave relationships, friendships, jobs, family members. So it can be used, these tips and tricks can be used in all walks of life. So yeah, I think the best way to kick off is kind of going through some feelings that you might have when you know in your gut that it's time to leave. So one that I've written. So one of the feelings that I think that you can identify when you know that it's time to leave something is a lack of growth or progress. So whether this is in a relationship, whether it's in a job, whether it's in a friendship, I just feel like you know when you feel a bit stale, like you're in a stalemate, you feel stagnant and you feel like you're trying to work so much on the relationship, the job, or the friendship that you maybe don't have time to work on yourself. So it's diluting that growth or progress. And I think that is definitely an indicator that you should leave that situation. And also like a massive, massive thing throughout this, it's going to be a topic and a huge undercurrent is trusting your gut feeling, isn't it? Some people's guts are more in tune than others. I think mine's become a little bit sharper and well tuned, if that's a word. It is.
Yeah, it is.
As I've got older, I've trained it a little bit more because I'm not sure whether you're born with a gut instinct or whether it's something that you kind of learn to understand.
I think people suppress it.
Yes.
So you learn as you get older, if you do the work on yourself, to trust yourself, self-trust, build the skill of self-trust. When I was drinking, I didn't trust myself at all. I had so many signals to not do things that I did, you know, relationships, jobs, things like that in my gut, I did have a gut feeling, but it was very quiet because I suppressed it. I didn't listen to it. I didn't hone it. I feel like you've got to be by yourself, listen to yourself, and in order to be able to strengthen that. But when you are younger, it's harder to do that because you're surrounded by external noise, like your parents trying to guide you or teachers or peers and stuff like that. Whereas when you get older, I think you do just naturally listen to yourself more. Yeah. Because you're older and wiser to hear yourself.
Yeah, so true. And I think sometimes your gut feeling can actually manifest as a physical sign. You know, if you sometimes, like say you're at a job that you hate and you want to leave, that can it can bring you out in a rash because you are 100%. Hating it that much. Yeah. So that is like your gut feeling, but also like it's your body physically telling you that you cannot do this anymore and you need to leave. And if you don't follow your gut instincts, it will manifest as a physical, you know, feeling.
Symptom.
A physical symptom or even a mental symptom where you can't even get out of the car at your office because you physically associate that with being miserable or pain.
I can literally feel the feeling in my stomach right now.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
horrible.
It's like sick.
Yeah.
Anxious, like heavy.
Yeah.
It's horrendous. It's horrendous. I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
And if you feel that feeling, 100,000,000%, that is when to leave, and you just need to leave as fast as you can.
Yeah. And off the back of what you're saying about things, about how you feel about things, I think another thing to notice is if you spend more time like fantasizing and romanticizing about leaving, and you're painting this picture of a life that you don't have, rather than thinking and focusing on fixing the life that you currently have, that's a big sign. Because if you were somebody who thought that whatever you were doing still had legs, then you would be thinking, right, how can I improve on this relationship? How can I better this friendship? How can I progress in this job? Or maybe speak to my manager about changing my role slightly in order for me to be happy. Then that's you focusing on improving your current reality, which is also great. Like that's also a process that people need to do when you are weighing up whether to make a big change and leave something. You're never going to just like wake up one day and make a rash decision. Well, I would advise against that. Think about it. And maybe that does involve assessing your current reality and thinking, oh, could I just improve my current situation instead of making a leap and leaving something? But if you are spending more time thinking about this life that you don't have, that's normally a sign.
A huge indicator.
Yeah. How many times have you just been like looking out the window thinking about a life that you don't have? That was literally my early 20s. That's all I did. I just thought about being sober, like
being single.
Like, like having this life. And I actually felt really emotional on my birthday, because I like woke up on my 30th and I was like looking around. It's like had a moment to myself where I'm like, I have everything I ever wanted. Everything I ever dreamed of when I was in my early 20s, I have it. And I'm really proud. Like it literally gives me goosebumps, because thinking about, you know, the life you can't stop thinking about. Focus on the life you can't stop thinking about, and try and make every effort to get that.
Yeah.
It's in your mind for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another one, building on that point, is like you said, you know, if you're focusing on the now and the reality and trying to make it better, if you feel like you've tried everything to make it work, then I think it's time to leave. To
go. And also you can walk away with your head held high.
Yeah. 100%.
Knowing you tried everything. So I massively agree with that one.
And that's a really great feeling.
Great.
Like you've got a clean
heart.
No
regrets.
Yeah. You tried it. It didn't work. You pivot. You fail forward and fast. And you move on to the next thing and don't stand in your own way of future happiness. So I think that's a massive, massive thing. Another one is you feel like you're settling. If you feel, and this one's kind of more, I suppose, mainly relationships, but also it could be a job or a friendship.
Yeah, definitely.
But in a relationship sense, if you feel like you deserve better, and I know people won't admit that they feel that, because if you were to admit that you feel like it kind of makes you feel a bit pompous, like I'm better than this person. But I just think if you genuinely feel like you deserve more, then you're not going to stop thinking about more. And it's also not fair on the other person if you are feeling like you're, you know, better suited to someone who's maybe a little bit more educated or...
Yeah, because it's not so much better as in like I'm better than you. It's just you might want more than someone else, but it's unfair on you because you feel like you want more, but it's also unfair on that person because that person is someone else's dream.
And is enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's important that you let that person go so that they can find who thinks that they're fucking great. Yeah. Because they are fucking great to somebody else.
Exactly.
So I think that's a double-sided one, I think.
It is.
It's important for everyone involved.
100%.
But I think a lot of the time people stay in jobs or relationships, friendships, whatever it is, out of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being judged, fear of being rejected, fear of the unknown. And so I think if your decision to stay somewhere is driven out of fear, that's something to really think about. Like, what exactly are you scared of? There's a great question that I ask my life coaching clients, and it is, what would you do if you weren't scared? And normally that's the answer.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, because fear is a filter. Fear makes you think that it's like, you know, patting you on the back when really it's stabbing you in the back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, it's a form of self-protection though. Like it's wired in our brains to think about what the next, like what's going to jump out and get us.
Yeah.
And it's the uncertainty of the future that can definitely keep you stuck.
Especially if you like live with a partner or you've got like shares in the business or you've got, you know, a pension or with friendships, you've got like a holiday booked in a year.
Sunken cost as well.
Exactly. So you've got all of these things that in your head, it's like, oh, it's easier to stay. But the thing that I love to talk about is choose your hard. So it's hard to leave a relationship, but equally it is very hard to fast forward 10 years and realize that you are with the wrong person and you've wasted 10 years of your life. I mean, wasted inverted commas.
Yeah.
I don't ever think time is wasted with someone.
Yeah.
It's always learning about yourself. But a quote that I really like and I found, and I've heard it a few times, but I think it's so fitting in this instance. So it's better to admit you walked through the wrong door than to spend your life in the wrong room.
Love it.
And I just feel like, great, you know, I can't put that better than saying that. So yeah, just be honest with yourself, be raw and trust your gut instincts when it comes to leaving anything. This is something I want to ask you actually. You know, when it comes to family members, because I know a lot of listeners, like people that I've been speaking to, they're kind of like, on the topic of leaving, like some of the dilemmas that people were sending in, it was kind of like about family members and like, you know, my family are like toxic or whatever. What do I do? Like, do I leave them? Like, do I? And it's really difficult because family is very different to friends and boyfriends because they are literally like flesh and blood.
Yeah.
So I feel like, do we judge them the same way? Do we use the same kind of principles for family members? It's tough because a lot of people have very fictitious relationships with the family. So how do you know when to leave and turn your back on family when they're not serving you and they're toxic?
I think people are people. And I think sometimes with family, it's innate in us that you expect unconditional love, right? Because that's what, you know, textbook, that's what people say about family. Unfortunately, that's not the case for a lot of people. And like I just said, people are people, whether they're your family or not. And I think if you are in a situation where you have got an unhealthy relationship with your family or toxic, like you said, firstly, explore a way where you could maybe practice setting some boundaries instead of doing the cutthroat thing of removing yourself from your family completely, because that's really extreme and that's hard. Try and find a world where you're still protected and looking after yourself whilst also having some sort of relationship with your family. If it's a really extreme case, I follow this girl online and she has completely cut off her mum. And she doesn't tell the deep, intricate details, but from that outcome, it was obviously not a good relationship. And she quite rightly says in her experience, and it is also personal, in her experience, it's the best thing she's ever done. Because she said, why would I accept that type of behaviour from a family member who is just a person, just a human being, when I wouldn't accept it from a friend who has no obligation to love me unconditionally, but does. Yeah. And in a way, family, they do have an obligation to love you unconditionally because they are your family, and her mum wasn't loving her unconditionally and was actually behaving in quite a horrendous way towards her. Like, why would she have a relationship with a mum? And I completely understand that. I think it's just so personal and so contextual, but at the end of the day, it's, if you try to set those boundaries, if it doesn't work or they're not receptive to the boundaries that you set, maybe it is a conversation of walking away and leaving. Yeah. But it's so heavy, that, isn't it? It's so tough.
But I think the family piece gets left out of a lot of conversations. Yeah. And I think it's so important just to put it in there that we acknowledge that a lot of people do have fictitious relationships with family members. And, you know, like you said, it's about setting those boundaries first and foremost, and then coming up with a plan after that benefits you. Because
think about you.
Yeah, it's so tough because just because they are flesh and blood, like, it doesn't mean that you can take them like treating you like shit or, you know, blurring the boundaries
Yeah.
that you set so highly for everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
And just on the topic of family, but completely shifting gear here
Let's
from like
lighten it up.
quite a heavy topic to actually the most hilarious story
Yeah.
ever about my mum. So my mum had a job when she worked in an office. She was like a debt collector, like she would chase
that
people
wasn't-
for money.
Oh God.
Yeah, they called her the Rottweiler because
Did they?
in the office she was savage. Which if you've met my mum, you will understand that.
You know what's so funny? You know how I posted on my story before it was like rate or hate my purchase in Marrakesh, like a bag.
Did she put hate?
She put hate.
Yeah. That is so her.
I love the
That's
honesty
so
though.
her.
It's so funny.
Honestly, she's
I just
so
quickly checked before and it was like Diane McNichol, hate. I forgot to tell you that before.
That is so good.
funny. I was like, fair fucking play, girl.
Honestly, she is not backwards.
And she wouldn't be
coming
like,
forwards.
oops, like chunky thumbs, accident. She'd be like, yeah, I
no, she'd be like,
fucking
hate that.
hated it.
That's
Yeah.
horrible. Yeah. She's so direct, and it really does build your character when you're a kid,
love her.
honestly. But no, you always know where you stand with her for sure.
Yeah.
So she had a job, as I say, in this office, and I was 7 months old at the time, and she wanted to get her boobs done. So at the time, you could get your boobs done on the NHS. So yeah, and
I missed a bloody trick. Fuming.
So she rang the doctors and said, listen, I want to get on this waiting list for my boobs. And they said, well, it can be quite last minute. Like if we get a cancellation or whatever, do you want us to just give you a call? So she said, yeah, just give me a ring. So a few days go by, they give her a call. Can you do tomorrow? Get your boobs done? She said, yeah, absolutely, book me in. So she went into the office the next day. She said, hiya, I'm leaving. I'm getting my tits done. And they were like, wait, what? She was like, yeah, bye. Got a bag, just walked out, never to be seen again. Got her boobs done.
How
and that
to
was
know
it.
when to leave when you've got a boob job the next day on the NHS. Bloody Nora. Jealous.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Has she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Well, yeah, she got them
She
done.
still got them in.
Yeah. So that's how to know when to leave when you've got a boob job appointment.
Yeah. I love
What
that
an
from
icon.
her.
Like,
What an icon. She
iconic
probably could have
behaviour.
stayed there as well, but she just couldn't
didn't
be
care.
arsed.
She didn't care.
Yeah.
She just thought, I'm getting my boobs done. I want to recover.
Yeah.
I don't give 2 shits about this job.
Yeah. And I've got a 7-month-old baby.
And I've got a 7-month-old baby, so ta-ra.
Excellent.
How
I
funny.
didn't know your mum had had her boobs done.
Yeah.
look
That's
very
Kris Jenner
natural.
behaviour, isn't it?
Very Kris Jenner behaviour.
Very Kris Jenner coded. She is very Kris Jenner coded in general.
Kylie Jenner posted her boob job specifications
Yes,
on. Did you see
I saw
that?
it's gone wild. Also, the internet went wild for Kris Jenner's facelift.
Yeah, I saw that as
Wow,
well.
174 grand it cost her. I know.
Wow.
Wild.
Well, that was great. That was a good way to end this episode because
Yeah.
I feel like it's quite a heavy one.
Yeah.
So hopefully you have figured out how to know the signals and signs of when to leave a relationship, a job, a friendship, a family dilemma. And it's provided you with some insight, guys, and some giggles about my tracksuit. So yes, thank you so much for listening.
If you've enjoyed the episode, please make sure you like it, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.